Hey everyone, welcome to Midweek Live. So glad you're joining us today in the middle of your week. I am sitting with our children's pastor, Travis Petskowski. I actually really love saying your last name.
You nailed it.
It's really fun to say.
You nailed it.
It's like a challenge, but fun.
I always tell people it's like a guy named Pat has a cow that can ski. Pat's cow ski.
That's great. That is fantastic.
It's a good picture too.
How long ago did you start doing that?
It's been a while. That's good. I actually had a friend in high school that told me that's how he remembered my name. So
and you were like, that is genius.
Yeah.
I actually see it in my head. And anyway, so we are talking because there's actually been a lot of kids have been opening up more. I know there's a lot of details that go within that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like there's any place where we could really unpack some of those details more for parents, and I'm sure they're very curious. So I thought it'd be great if we sat down and talked about what it does look like to kind of roll out opening for kids, what the plan is moving forward, what it looks like right now. Do parents need to do something? How can they stay informed? Stuff like that. And we've got some things coming up too that we want to let people know about. Parent-child dedication is coming up in like 2 weeks, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's the Saturday before Mother's Day.
Yeah, which is so
basically
cool.
here now.
Right?
Yeah. So if you haven't planned something for Mother's Day, you ought to go figure that out right now.
And then Summer Extreme Days. It will look so different this year than it did the year before, and I'm sure than it did the year before. So I would love for you to kind of unpack that. So let's start with Sundays. Right now, 3 weeks ago? Is that about the time we opened up?
That's right. Yeah, so we've opened up services for kids 3rd through 6th grade.
Right.
And our parents are probably wondering, well, gosh, I've got a 2-year-old and it's awfully hard to watch church with my 2-year-old running around and
I can only imagine.
Doing all that kind of stuff. I got a 3-year-old, so I have an idea of what that's like.
I bet.
And or at least my wife has a really good understanding of what that's like. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So we started with 3rd through 6th grade because of when we're looking at all the safety stuff that we need to do to keep our families and our kids safe.
Yeah.
We can do that really easily with those age groups.
Yes.
It's about social distancing. It's about wearing masks.
Yeah.
The way we do ministry with those kids, we have large group rooms, so we have a lot of square footage to work with. Social distancing is easy.
Yeah.
And so we were able to open up those and get those running. Honestly, it's not like dramatically different than the way that we normally do church.
Okay.
Our kids kind of stay more in one place rather than being all over the place. So it's been more work to figure out how we can have fun without moving.
Yeah.
Kids like to move.
Yeah.
Or at least
Get
move,
the wiggles
but
out.
not by each other, if you will.
Yeah.
And so honestly, opening that up was pretty easy as far as things go, and we've been loving that. We built up some really good relationship with kids online.
Yeah.
But man, we love to be able to
do
this in person,
in
right?
person.
Kind of a deal. And so, but when we start looking at younger kids, keeping those kids safe, which is a priority, kids need to be safe. They need to be safe and they need to feel safe.
Yeah.
That's huge in our kids' ministry.
Yeah.
We're always looking at that and really looking at our teams of people, because it's like kids need to learn that they can trust the people of God, because if they can't trust the people of God, man, how are they going to trust God?
That's great.
And chances are we all know somebody in our lives that was once plugged in and growing with Jesus, and somebody in the church hurt them. And they've taken that hurt from somebody in the church and they've put that on God, and now they and God are not so good.
Yeah.
And so
Gosh,
it's something
I feel like you nailed it for like so many adults out there too,
that's our reality.
Yeah.
And so kids have got to be safe. They have to feel safe and be safe.
Yeah.
There's physical safety, emotional safety, spiritual safety that we're looking at. In a big way, though, with all this COVID stuff, it's physical safety.
Yeah.
What we're always trying to do is help our kids get into smaller groups, meaning we want our ratio of adults and student leaders to kids to be pretty high. We want a lot of adults and student leaders investing in kids.
Right.
And so when we built our kids' facilities, rather than just saying, hey, let's build some big old rooms to have fun in, we built a lot of small classrooms so that we can be really focused on relationships, making sure that kids aren't feeling left out, that they're connected, that they're growing, very intentional in the way that we do ministry. And because of the square footage of those classrooms, it really, in working with our health department, gosh, it's like, hey, we're going to have 2 adults with 4 kids in a classroom,
right.
you know? And when we start looking at some of those ratios, it's just not practical.
Yeah.
We don't have enough adults to do that, to make kids safe. And so that's really what has delayed our kids opening.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing right now with COVID, it's like our numbers are getting better.
Yeah.
You know, things are really going great. And so what we're really looking at as we see that is looking for late May, early June to be opening up our ministry really from birth to 6th grade on Sunday mornings. What we're looking at.
Great.
We're opening up that 9 o'clock service first and then rolling to that 11 o'clock as time goes on. Really, the obstacles that we're up against there is just, gosh, we need a ton of people to do that.
Yeah.
And so on our teams, most have come back, but there's those that have, you know, life circumstance are different. And for health reasons, they're not able to come back. Or some have just moved, you know, trying to find new jobs and work and things like that.
For sure.
And so really, we need our church to show up. And to love on kids. We know that'll be easier when we've got 2 services, but we are starting with that 9 o'clock.
And that's what's happening right now. Is
that's
the 9,
what's happening
the 3rd
right now.
through 6
is
at
the
9.
9 for 3rd through 6th. So again, in that last weekend of May or early June, we're looking at opening for all ages at the 9 o'clock. And then we'll add on that next service. I mean, just for perspective, it takes about a little over 60 adults serving to pull off a service in kids ministry.
Just one, and that would be all the way from birth to 6th grade.
Yes. And so, you know, we would love to have even more than that because that even it does a better job of those ratios and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't count our high school and junior high students that serve in the classroom.
Right, this is just the kids.
That's just adults.
And adults. I see what you mean there. Got it.
Yeah. And so it's the cool thing about that is you look at that and maybe you don't realize, but man, there are a ton of North Pointers like doing a lot. There always have been. That every week kind of a thing, that every week commitment that they are there and serving. And so that a lot of times that's not seen on a weekly basis. But it's a huge amount of our church serving in that capacity, which is awesome because man, we love our kids.
Absolutely.
And so as people are feeling more comfortable coming back, one of the things that we're seeing is we've added a lot of new people to NorthPointe.
A lot of new faces for sure.
So there's a few places that we see that, and kids ministry can track that more specifically than any other ministry on campus, just because every single kid checks in.
Right.
And so if a kid is on campus, we can infer parents. We know when they were here last, when we know when they were here first. And so we're really seeing that there's a lot of new NorthPointe families. And so that's part of the need. I was originally looking at the numbers that we need, that I was projecting to open up our younger kids.
Right.
And we opened up 3rd through 6th grade, and I went, oh man, my numbers are off. We need more people.
Oh, wow. That's a great problem.
It's a great problem to have.
But now we just need for people to want to step into that.
And so, so we're praying. We know that we know that there's 60 people out there, 70 people out there that they're just one step away to saying yes to what Jesus is calling them to. We know that God has shaped and prepared. We're not always prepared in the sense of like, you know, he doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. And so he calls us first. We don't really know what to do. And then as we step in and lean into what he's doing, he shapes us.
That's a great way to put that. He doesn't call would you say, he doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. That's really neat. So, okay, so what is a time commitment? Let's say that somebody's on the fence. They're thinking about helping out. What does it look like? What's the time commitment? I mean, like, what's the process? What's the time commitment?
Well, I tell you what, our ideal vision, and we say our ideal vision for kids is that we have somebody who's committing to a classroom for each week.
Okay.
And so it's like, hey, I'm going to serve with our 2-year-olds, and I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be there every single week. Now, you know, there's like vacation, and unfortunately we get sick and things like that. So it ends up not being every week. It's like 3 times a month.
Right.
But the reason that's our ideal and our goal is because of what it means for relationships for kids.
The consistency,
You know, it's like my 3-year-old, she really hasn't been in much ministry at church because
Right.
most of her life has been spent in this COVID season.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But for my other kids, it's like, man, when they were young and they went to church, there was a person there that was their safe person.
Yeah.
And gosh, when that person's not there,
Yeah.
church was kind of up in the air.
Not as, yeah.
You know,
not as
they were
fun.
having a tough time. It was hard
Yeah.
for mom and dad to drop them off because they're crying, right? And so that consistency of that safe person there, and you know what, that really translates to our older kids because being there consistently is what says, I see you and I care about you. And our kids need somebody outside of their household. They need somebody outside of their family who is invested and loves them and cares about them like Jesus does.
Yeah.
They kind of feel like, and I'm already seeing this with my kids, they feel like mom and dad have to love
I was going to
me.
say, you have to, right? You have to forgive and love.
Yeah,
and,
you have to do that, right? And so when somebody outside of that circle comes in and reinforces everything that mom and dad are saying is so valuable.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I don't know how many times as my boys were growing up that I would say something, a suggestion or a thought or whatever, and I'll have said it a bunch of times. And then one not within that circle would say it, and they were like, you should have heard, them say this, then I was going, really? I have said that to you so many times, but it really does go to show you how much of a big influence people outside of your home are
huge.
on your kids.
It's huge. And every one of us knows that because we had people in our lives like that.
Yeah, 100%.
What you just described, that was our story. We've all done that.
Yeah.
As a parent, we can respond and get frustrated because that's how I start.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, really? Oh, my gosh.
But then it's like, no, I need to move to a place of being thankful.
Yeah,
that
that's
somebody's
really true.
there. And it's like, look, I don't care how they've learned that. They need to pick that up and learn that.
And that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the ideal is to be there with that consistency.
Yeah.
But gosh, you know what? We got to get kids ministry open.
Yeah.
And so we're flexing that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're saying, look, can you commit to being there for a year in an every other week basis?
That's great.
Right?
Okay.
We haven't quite figured out how to manage that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot more communication and organization and checking in. And so we're still trying to figure that out. We're like, cool, we got a month to figure this out.
Yeah.
So we do need everybody's grace in that for sure.
Yeah.
But we're kind of relaxing that, knowing that, gosh, at some point we're going to step back up to that ideal.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, we've got to open the doors for kids.
Yes.
It's killing us to not be able to
Yeah.
have our kids and invest in our kids.
For sure.
I mean, it's like my team and staff is just going crazy.
Yeah. And am I right that, let's say that a parent is not comfortable going into those rooms yet or anything like that? We have the outdoor service.
We do.
Which has like tables and chairs and things like that. Yeah. And is there activities and stuff for kids?
Yeah, I mean, we know that kids are coming. And what's really interesting is how much they're actually listening.
Oh.
It's really remarkable. They're picking up bits and pieces from our services. But yeah, we've got fun stuff. We've got Play-Doh out there. We've got different activities for them to put together. We've got stuff for them to color.
Yeah.
I remember I went to church that's what church was like when I was young. And I remember digging through mom's purse and trying to find gum and candy. And we're always drawing something.
Tic Tacs.
Like I grew up doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so really what we're trying to do is the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
We want families to know of like, hey, you're maybe not comfortable checking your kid in yet. I mean, right now we can't for certain age groups, but still come. The idea of being there and showing up to church, even though it's inconvenient and not perfect, that's what teaches. Because what you're saying to your kids is being a part of a community. This is what belonging means. And gosh, let's look at our culture. What's missing? Yeah. People feel lonely and empty. It's because they don't belong.
Yeah.
And God's plan for that is first a relationship with Him, and second, a relationship with the church, and it's about belonging. And so, if you come, and maybe your story is you come and you didn't hear anything in the message, and that's a bummer.
And that's possible.
Right? I've had weekends like that where it's like, oh, you need to go potty again, huh? Sure
okay,
you do.
let's do
All right,
this.
Here we go. Right? And it's like, I got nothing. But the truth of the matter is, I'm still a part of the community. And I got to be there. I got to see people.
Yeah.
My kids got to be out.
Yeah. And I was going to say, it's kind of an outing, too. It's like
is.
this, you kind of getting out of the house and changing gears a little
It
bit.
is.
And it's fairly decent weather right now. It's not as intense when your kid has a meltdown because you're outside.
Yeah.
All of those,
all of those moments
where your kid, instead of a room room where your kid erupts into screaming and you're trying to get them out as fast as possible.
It's no big deal.
It doesn't feel like that big of a deal.
It's no big deal.
That's great.
There's parents out there that are like, I got a kid in a stroller and I'm just walking today.
And that's kind of great too. We got a nice kind of park setting feel to what we do out there. Okay, so parent-child dedications coming up. We haven't done a ton of them through this.
We've done none of them.
Okay, we've done none. Okay,
Just because of, it's inside, it's with young kids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we got our first one coming up. It's Saturday before Mother's Day.
That's great.
And so, man, a parent-child dedication is really... it's less for the kids and it's more for mom and dad.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing is we're standing up and we're making a commitment to the way that we're going to raise our kids.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful marker in our lives. As parents, I mean, we have our kids and we're trying to be good parents. We're wanting to do all the right things. We're wanting to set our kids up for success. And honestly, success in having a relationship with Jesus is more important than anything.
Yeah.
If my kids never learn to read, that's terrible. But if my kids don't know Jesus, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Right? And so, man, every parent's goal is that their kids will grow up to know Jesus. And so our parent-child dedication ceremony, it's a place where you can stand up and formally say, we are committing to set an example for our kids and raise them up in a way, create an environment for them that is going to increase their odds to know Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's really about us. It's about how we behave.
Yeah.
It's about our conduct. It's about the things that we talk about. I'll give you an example. We were talking about attending church. A lot of times we are taking our kids to church because something bad has happened. We've got a behavior problem, and we're taking them to church because we're wanting them
a positive influence.
The thing about that is, I used to be our junior high pastor here, and I have families come to me, and it's like, I don't know how to get my junior higher to go to church. And it was really hard because it's like, well, when your kid was 2, if you would have been attending church,
it's a little hard to.
You've set that model, and you said, as a family, this is a family value. This is who we are. This is what it means. I tell my kids, you are a Patskowski. And in this family, we follow Jesus. And that is what we lay out as the foundation. Before any moral teaching that we have, it's based on Jesus. We do this because we follow Jesus. Because we belong to Jesus. Why do we go to church? Because it's about belonging, right? That's the foundation. You want to talk about any hot topic in life with your kids. You want to talk about dating. You want to talk about sex. You want to talk about the foundation is Jesus. And you start laying that foundation when your kid is 8 months old. And one of those is we go to church.
Right.
This is an identity of our family. When you have that foundation, when your kid gets into junior high, man, they're still going to be rebelling because they're trying to find their identity.
Right.
But you're able to point to this identity that you've already established.
Yeah, there's something they can go back to. It's like tagging home or
exactly. And so it's like you've got to commit to that now. Now, some families are coming and it's like, that's not who we were. I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. That wasn't my identity then. Right? Yeah, we tackle that a little bit differently. And so, but I'm speaking to parents from a preventative standpoint. It's like, look, you want to have a great relationship with your child when they're in junior high, school, and college. Today, you are laying the foundation. And one of those things is plugging into church. And I understand that that's online for some. But don't put your kid in the other room and lock them away. Let them see you and what you're doing. Let them be a part of that belonging. Yes, it's hard. It's hard to pay attention. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's distracting. But you know what? That's the price we pay as parents.
We've talked about this, the whole more things are caught than taught, right?
And that's what we're talking about at the dedication. It's a place for us to come and say, look, this is what we are doing in our house. And it's powerful. So you can get signed up online for that. It's on our events page.
And you guys have made it like a whole thing. Like it's like you come and enjoy a breakfast together, and you're kind of getting an idea of these other families that are also making this commitment together. And you're kind of creating these circles of, oh, I remember seeing you at that dedication, and how's so and so, and and so that it's not just for your kids, but understanding that there's this network of parents that are working together. I love it.
You show up. We've got some photo moments where we give everybody kind of a time slot where they're going to get with a professional photographer, and we're taking some family photos.
That's great.
Our goal is to get those edited. You get some really good professional, not just one. We've done one in the past, but we're trying to do, we just know that photos are so valuable.
Oh, my goodness,
so we're creating an opportunity for you to gather as a family and take photos together. We have a time where we kind of guide it, but you get to pray over your kids. So you're inviting people with you. You're inviting grandparents and aunt and uncle, or if you've got godparents. It's bring everybody out, because it takes all of us to support in raising
and
this
it's
kid.
also this like celebration.
It is. And and so then we stand up and we commit together, and then we party. Think about a wedding ceremony.
I love that.
What do? We commit, we have a ceremony, and then we have a party.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We have a commitment ceremony, and we party and we celebrate together.
I remember the moments where we used to do, I think we would have families come up on stage, and as a congregation in agreement with the families that were dedicating their kids, we would in agreement stand with them and say, we are part of this church community with you, and we're the group of people that are going to help you raise your kids. And I remember never having, I grew up in the church. I never experienced that before. And I just remember that felt so like, I don't know, amazing, powerful, cool, like the visual, you hear and see everybody stand.
Yeah.
It's just such an impressive example of the way the church should look and be.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
I love it. So we kind of shifted gears on doing that.
Yeah.
Because of the experience for parents.
Yeah.
It's like my kid's going to explode in crying and tears. And so it was so stressful that it wasn't a great experience for parents, for families.
Right.
And so that's why we kind of do this as a separate event. And we want you to invite everybody in your
do you still
clan.
have that moment in the...
We do. We still have that moment.
I love that.
And these are all people that you personally know.
Yeah.
And then we bring photo and we talk about that at church, because we want the church to say, look, these are
the people.
This is our community.
Yeah.
These are people who belong to NorthPointe.
Yeah.
They belong to our community. And all of us here, we're here supporting them.
That's awesome.
It takes all of us.
That's awesome.
It really does.
Okay, let's switch gears.
Okay.
Summer Extreme Days.
Oh, man, I
looked
love it.
really different last year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to look even different than the normal that we're used to. What does it look like this year?
Great. You know, Summer Extreme Days, as it stands for a kid's experience, is very similar to what we've always done.
Okay.
Kids have a blast at Summer Extreme Days.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
fun, there's game, there's music, there's all of those
High
elements.
energy.
All of those elements are present. It's a great experience for kids. As we were bumping up against a couple of frictions, and some of our COVID stuff really made that even a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were at a point where at our growth rate with Summer Extreme Days, we knew if 2020 was a non-COVID year, at the rate that we were going, that was the last year we were looking at having to limit registration and selling out and saying, I'm sorry, you can't come. We just don't have space for you.
Wow.
That we hate doing that. We love that we've got people that are growing and we're blessing people in that fashion. We hate telling people we don't have
we don't
room,
like turning people down ever.
And so we already knew that was going to be a problem. Now, COVID happened and all that kind of stuff. And we're looking at even further limiting all that kind of stuff. And so we've kind of reimagined the way Summer Extreme Days works.
Yeah.
And so that's just a fun event where we're teaching kids the gospel.
Right.
And so we've broken that into 2 sessions. Instead of, we used to do 4 days of our event and then a family party at the end.
Yeah.
So now what we're doing is we've broke that into 2 3-day sessions.
Okay.
So what that is happening in June. Signups are going to be happening in just a couple of weeks here. But really what it is it's Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night.
Okay.
And that's going to be for our kids from 4 years old.
Okay.
All the way up to those in 2nd grade. And,
Okay.
and at that point, we're looking at what they're going to be in fall. So if you currently have a 1st grader right now,
they're actually a
gonna
2nd grader.
You're going to sign them up as a 2nd grader.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Because by the time this happens, school will be done.
Yep.
So really they have already promoted to the next.
We have a Sunday, we call it Transition Sunday, we
Yeah.
call it Promotion Sunday,
Yeah.
we call it Step Up Sunday.
Yeah.
You can use whatever you want, right?
Moving on up Sunday.
Right?
No.
You got it, right? And that's going to be happening in June.
Yeah.
Summer Extreme Day is going to happen after that, right? So we're registering all of our kids. And so again, that experience is designed very specifically for those age groups. It's designed so that we've got different experiences for different kids based upon intellectually what's going on developmentally, what they're curious and excited about. Our games are a little bit different and everything like that. We've got a craft experience and we've got snack and all that stuff. So again, that's a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Okay. And the beauty of that is going forward, now we have plenty of space to continue to grow.
Right.
We're not having to tell people, sorry, we don't physically have space on campus anymore.
Right.
And so that really allows us to handle some of our COVID safety protocols that we've got in place.
Yeah.
And it allows us future growth.
So is that really the plan, even moving beyond 2021 to do a 3 and a 3?
I tell you what, anything
One thing at a time?
Anything can change.
1 year at a time.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plan. We may come to this. I tell you, that's one of the things. We're not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
We're going to try it and we do it and we believe in this vision and we believe that it's going to work.
Yeah.
But we're not afraid to say, wow.
Yeah, that did not work out.
There's some things that were good, but we can't do that again.
Well, we like to say fail fast, right?
That's it.
Fail fast.
Right. And so we're happy to
try it.
reinvent the wheel again if this doesn't work. But I mean, we really see that this has legs to be the way that we do things.
That's really cool.
And then we're looking at Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday morning.
Okay.
We know Saturday night is kind of its own thing. So we're doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning.
Got it.
And that's going to be for our 3rd through 6th graders.
Okay.
So that is the same summer extreme days experience that they've had in the past. But again, we're able to really dial into those ages that are on campus and that experience and what that looks like.
That's great.
And so we're really excited about being able to do that.
Yeah.
And we know that we know that the friction for families is, well, gosh, I have a 2nd grader and I have a 3rd grader.
Yeah.
Now I have 2 different things. We understand that those create frictions and and those create tensions.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I thought immediately. If my kids would have been, because they're 4 years apart, so I'm sure we would have hit a stretch where they would have hit either one of those. The thing you don't get to do very often with your kids is get one-on-one with them.
Right.
So you have a great opportunity when the one is at Summer Extreme Days to say, hey, what are we doing tonight? Let's go and do something special. Whatever you want. You don't have to, abide by the other sibling, whatever you want to do. Let's do it. Let's have a picnic or go play basketball or whatever it is. And they kind of
ice cream on waffles.
Whatever it is. Yeah. Just like, let's make it. Let's go and do it. Let's just spend some quality time together.
Yeah.
Because kids will always want that time with their parents.
Oh,
like undivided attention of your parents, especially when you have several kids, is never going to happen. So you have an opportunity to do that. And I think that'd be kind of a cool option for parents to kind of plan for and have fun with and stuff. How are we doing with volunteers for Summer Extreme Days?
We need tons of volunteers.
Yeah.
So typically, it's about 300 to 350 volunteers that we have.
Yeah.
And now's the time to sign up.
Yeah.
We know that there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of tentative. I'm not sure what it's like.
Yeah.
That seems really far away. And I got to tell you guys, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not far away.
We're already almost in May at this point.
Our first big training happens in May for that. Our second big training happens in June. And then Summer Extreme Days is here.
Yeah.
And so it's like, sign up now. You can sign up on our webpage right now. On the SXD, you go to our events page.
Yeah, and I
think
you
scroll down, you look at it. You can get signed up on there.
I was gonna say, I think I even put the link on there for. I did. Direct link right there, and even a link for Sundays to just help parents kind of understand what that looks like even more. That's really helpful.
And one of the things that people maybe are wondering is, well, gosh, I don't know that I'm comfortable being there in person. I'm not comfortable with my kid being there in person. My advice at this point is, when it comes to COVID safety, June is a long ways away.
Yeah.
Our governor is still saying, and we're seeing stuff project that like before Summer Extreme Day happens, like we're going to be wide open here.
Yeah.
In the valley.
Yeah.
And so here's kind of the deal in that. Get signed up to serve now, because it's much harder to wait until after those trainings have happened to say, oh man, now I feel safe and comfortable, right? Come in, serve, and say, hey, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be comfortable. It's much easier for us to onboard you now and then talk through that and work through that in a relational way, rather than you coming in June and saying, I'm ready, I want to do this. Now, we'll still take you then, but you as an individual are not going to be as prepared and confident to give kids our best, if that makes sense.
Well, I loved hearing Ryan's testimony this last weekend. And what I love about Ryan is they've got 4 kids, right? 4 kids. So he's a very, very busy parent and everything. But I love that, well, number one, guys, I just feel like guys serving with kids is just so fun because it's I feel like there's a lot of teachers that are ladies and stuff, but to have the guys giving them high fives and just enjoy, he said, I love just sitting with them and talking with them. And then he said, and then I also knew I had to remember the verse too, because they were remembering the verse. And so it's kind of funny how those things challenge us in a really positive way to also be in the Word and to also be memorizing things, because honestly, we're talking about the fundamentals that we're giving kids, but sometimes it's good reminders for us adults to get back to the fundamentals of a relationship with the Lord. And so I just love that that he just shared, hey, it was just as easy as just going, okay, cool, we're gonna have a group and we're gonna talk and we're gonna have fun. And I will tell you, thematically, in all the years that I've done Summer Extreme Days, everyone always walks in and goes, okay, I'm so tired. And then this place starts erupting with kids' energy. And I am telling you, we're bouncing off the wall. We're just as excited as they are. They bring this energy with them that just lifts up your spirits. I mean, no matter what kind of day you've had, you walk in and it's just like, the energy is real in the room. And it's unlike any other experience you will ever have. The kids really, really bring it out in you. And so, I would just encourage you, if you've never served before, to do it, because it's a blast. And everyone just seems to just be lighthearted that whole week. Everyone just seems to be really enjoying themselves. So it's not just the kids, and I know we're creating environments for them, but it is about community. More than anything, you walk around and just see so much community happening. You see teams of people supporting each other. You see groups of people coming together to create snacks, and you see craft people. We're all in our little areas doing our things, but we're laughing and we're engaging in conversation and we're saying hi to kids. And we used to high five. I'm not sure if we can do that this year, but I don't know if it's like high elbow or whatever that's going to look like, or high feet. I don't know. But, just the energy that whole campus has during Summer Extreme Days. It's just dynamite. It's great.
It's fun. And
it's a blast.
And it's memorable. I mean, God will use you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a guarantee. You're going to walk away and he's going to have used you. I mean, I think about, sometimes we look at our lives and we're thinking gosh, how effective have I been? When was the last time I had a conversation about Jesus with a coworker? The relational ministry that we're doing every day in our lives, it's slow development. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
And then you come to Summer Extreme Days and you're like, it's a sprint. And it's amazing because in a week's time, there is no question you are going to walk away and you will look back and you will see that you were used by God.
Oh yeah, you will definitely see it. And kids are so approachable. They're kids, and because they're so innocent and because they speak what's on their mind, you are able to actually kind of measure as you have these conversations with them, how they're walking in their relationship with the Lord, how they are finding encouragement. And it's a really cool, thing to be a part of. So
it's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is. Okay. Well, we won't get into some big questions because we're hitting our time about right now. But if you guys have any questions about serving on any capacity on Sundays, for Summer Extreme Days, email, you said NPKids?
Yeah, email npkids@northpointe.org.
That's great.
npkids at northpointe.org.
Right.
That's it.
That's
Maybe
great.
There's a way we can put it in the comments.
I will throw it in. I will absolutely throw it in the comments.
And honestly, that comes to a couple of us. Sometimes I'm the one responding to that directly. But you can ask any question you want there.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll connect you.
Yeah. So. Fantastic. And of course, register your kids for parent-child dedication if you want to do that. Amazing. Right before Mother's Day. So perfect. What a great experience to remember. That entire weekend could be pretty fantastic. And then signing up your kids for Summer Extreme Days because it's going to be dynamite.
It's going to be awesome.
Press play.
Press play.
Love it. Thanks so much, Travis. Well, I hope it's really helpful for you. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them right there in the chat. We will see you guys on Sunday. Have a good one.